ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network or watching us on socials or Broadway World. Wherever you're watching us, we're so grateful to have you here. It's a show where artists talk about art and, theater and writers of original pieces of work, like A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, that when I was growing up, I remember the year it won the Tony. I remember the year I could see the billboards. I think we have, if you're watching us, I think we even have a little shot of what the billboards look like, or the playbill. I remember seeing it over at the Walter Kerr Theater, and they're doing a wonderful, incredible tribute at NYU to composer and of this show and many other shows, Steven Lutvak. We honor him. We honor the work that's been done by Steven, and we are excited. You can come see the show, everybody, July 18th at 3:00 for free, to honor the life and work. It would have been his 65th birthday. And as we bring on our guests today, I mean, is there anyone better than the people that have worked with him, that have shared the artistic space and been a part of his artistic family? Catherine Walker, welcome to the Roundtable.
Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited for you to be here. We were chatting a little bit off stage about your career, and obviously one of the things you're most known for, and one of the most epic roles and parts and shows that you were a part of, was A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. Do you remember your journey to that show?
Yes. So it's a long journey, Robert, and this is what made it so intensely special. I started coaching with Steve Lutvak in early 2000s when I was working regional theater, and I was doing Carousel at the Carousel Dinner Theater, and an actress by the name of Candy Benge was playing Carrie, and I was playing Julie, and we were chatting one day, and I said, I need like new audition rep for when we get back to the city and stuff. She said, you should go see this guy's name, Steven Lutvak. So she gave me his contact number, and that was the beginning of what initially started as, a coaching mentor and blossomed into a really beautiful friendship. And so it's really otherworldly to be, speaking of him having passed. He was a larger than life character, and I think he and we along with him believed he was just going to live forever because he had so much life left in him and so much creativity just bursting in so many projects in the works. But I was blessed and honored to have a very long, front row and ultimately on stage seat for pretty much the entire evolution of A Gentleman's Guide. And he would call, and I never took this for granted. He would call and he'd be like, here, listen to this. And he would play it over the phone, or he'd be like, listen to this line. It's hilarious, and he would have come up with some brilliant, witty, genius turn of phrase. Like it was magic. So then we took it to small rehearsal rooms to finally get it on its feet. And then eventually, like readings in small spaces, or he did a lot of cabaret at that time. So he would call me in and we would like tease the trio, or tease songs from the show as things were moving along. And it was fraught with some legal issues that took quite a few years. So we kind of rode that journey, and then finally, it went to Hartford. I was not part of the Hartford cast, but they expanded the cast to go to San Diego. And he called and he said, would you join? I said, I have to see this show on its feet, really, finally, in a full production. So that was magical. And then I re-auditioned to come to New York and was cast as Miss Barley and cover for Phoebe and Sabella. So I did that for the first year. I joke that I had like multiple personality disorder because there was like 1 week where I was never the same character for 2 shows in a row that week. And I was like, and the harmonies in like Trio or Horrible Woman, like I was like, that was special. And then when Lauren decided not to renew her contract for the second year, I was up for the Phoebe replacement. And again, that was the pinnacle. Like that was my full dream of having a principal role on Broadway and waking up every day knowing who I was going to be on stage that night. That was a real
Right,
luxury.
right.
That was a
Well,
luxury.
the love that people have for him and his work is evident in this event. So before we talk about more about you and him and the
Yeah.
whole experience, I want people to know that you can reserve your seats, even though they're free. You can go to tickets.nyu.edu and you could click the link, or you could put / in his name and you can reserve your seats. Reservations are encouraged. The theater there is gorgeous,
It
but it
is.
is limited in seats. And I know it's going to be an amazing lineup of people. So grab your reservations as you can.
Yes, please. I think we're getting close to capacity, which we're thrilled about. And, a team of friends, and Michael's husband, who has been just unbelievable through this incredibly difficult time, but have put together what I believe is going to be such a profoundly beautiful celebration of Steven's life. That will be this Thursday at 3 p.m. at Skirball at NYU. And, you know, I I think it really is going to show a really lovely swath of his talents, because he had such variation and he had such range to his style. And so, we're very excited to present this afternoon to everyone. It'll be about 90 minutes. And Catherine Porter, she has connected with Broadway Inspirational Voices, so they'll be with us to do an arrangement of his song, which is going to be really, really powerful. We'll be doing some selections from Gentleman's Guide, some new things that folks have never heard before. There'll be some video of Steven singing some of his cabaret hits where we're like, well, no one else can sing this song but him, so let's roll let's roll tape on that. And it should be really, really special. It would have been his birthday. He and I shared a lot. We shared a birthday, so it's also my birthday on Thursday, so I couldn't be happier to be in a room with folks that loved him and get to celebrate, both of our birthdays by, bringing him closer to us. I know he's with us, and I know he'll be with us on Thursday.
Oh, it's going to be a very emotional, special afternoon for
Yeah,
sure. His work, Gentleman's Guide, of course, was a Broadway debut, but his albums, and especially his engagements, including from Carnegie Hall, his albums, The Time It Takes and Ahead of My Heart. And then also, people may not know, there are other musicals and also a lot of film scores and writing for cinema, and winning literally all the songwriting awards. Um,
right.
a real body of work.
A real body of work that had, like I said, it had just such variation to all of it, and the styles, from jazz, and then in Gentleman's Guide, that English music hall operetta style, and then in some of the newer things that you'll hear that have not yet been heard in public on Thursday. That's a whole different vibe as well. And it was so fun to, be on the other end of phone calls where he would, find a new artist and share with me and be like, you got to listen to her, even if it was like an older artist, not even like a new artist, but someone that he had just, stumbled across, because he was teaching at NYU. So, and he's also a graduate of NYU, which is why we thought it was just beautiful that Skirball allowed us to use the space for Thursday. Um, and so he was always just always, gathering more knowledge, and he never stopped, and that's why it's just incredible. And our goal is that his legacy will live on and his music will live on. I know so many people loved Gentleman's Guide, and it's had so many reiterations, and it's been produced all over the world now. There's been Korean productions, and it's just really, really cool.
So get your tickets. Make sure you head on down. Catherine, you, speaking of teaching, you teach as well, and I know you're back home in Pennsylvania. We were talking about that. Though your career, reading about you and getting a bio about you and doing some research and looking at you on YouTube and your journey, I am floored, floored, and I have a million questions that you're not going to be able to answer. You're not going to answer my secret questions, but I'm still going to ask. How the heck did you fly up there every single night in Mary Poppins, and were you scared?
Um, the how was not up to me at all. Like they just harnessed me up
And you go.
and hoisted me with cables. There was nothing about my own willpower that was assisting really in that at all. Um, in the moment, in the during the shows, of course, there's like that split second of like, if this cable goes, but our crew was so amazing at the New Amsterdam, and they I just had no problem putting my trust in them. The scariest one was rehearsal. And you're just, how big the New Am is. Like you're just in this cavernous and there's no people, there's no audience. So there's a real sense of height and depth and you're just floating in the middle of it. That was a little nerve-wracking, but in the moment at the end of the show when you're flying out and you're seeing, oh, again, I get emotional just talking about it. When you're seeing little faces that are just, how is this happening? And you're seeing the parents too, like crying. It's such a powerful moment to like have and be in the middle of, literally be in the middle of that magic of theater moment. Um, And that was one of those things where I would just be flying and still in character, but just going, I can't believe I get to do this. I can't believe this is my life. I and then the other part of that before that where I kept saying that is whenever I would have the opportunity and I was singing across from and with Rebecca Luker because she was an idol. It was her and Julie Andrews for me. Like I was like, they're the be all and end all. So to be singing at Rebecca, that was the first time in the show. Like I would just be like, how is this? How is this my life? Yeah.
Well, I still have my umbrella from Mary Poppins, and I went to see Mary Poppins, and I sat next to Chuck Norris randomly. Like, you sit down in New York City, and Chuck
Hey,
Norris' family sits by, and at
I love
intermission,
it.
he said,
Thanks.
"Wow." That was it. He gave a "wow." So that's for you. Wow. I
Listen, does it really get any better than an endorsement from Chuck Norris?
I don't think that might be it. I mean, when you
That was probably peak.
that was it. That's it. When you look television, getting to be Mary Poppins, getting to work with Disney, getting to do the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade,
Yeah.
getting to do the Walt Disney Christmas Parade as
Oh,
Mary
yeah.
Poppins, um, that's like a huge responsibility, and that show lays on your back. So, what do you say about that when you're the head of the star
Yeah.
of something like that?
Yeah. It's kind of like being a pageant queen a little bit. Like you feel that. But um it's such an honor, and it's such a fleeting amount of time really when you look at the shape of things in life. And I never really felt the weight. I've always been, a Disney lover and that sense of possibility and hope. So to be a part of that legacy, and be a vehicle for those types of emotions and representing all of that, it didn't feel like a heavy responsibility. I mean, honestly, my favorite thing was meeting the little ones at the stage door. Not even just little ones. I mean, the parents too, like I said, flying over that were just like, you can't stop that feeling of, wow, I'm seeing this from my own eyes, like anything is possible. So to foster that and be a part of that storytelling with the rest of the cast was a great honor.
Well, your career, new productions around America, like you have done the roles of that voice type. You have done if it's Christine in
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera, if it's Julie in Carousel, if it's Gypsy, etc. You have done some of the greatest musicals that have ever been put on a stage.
I have been lucky to do a lot of those mostly legit. I mean, I've done like Jekyll and Hyde, like Emma and Jekyll and Hyde, which I love, really working the mix. I haven't really done a big belty show yet, so maybe as I get older, that's still coming down the lane.
We're ready. We're ready for the Catherine Walker belt. Come on now.
Yeah.
Will you explain, if you can, and would like to, a little bit about your journey to Ragtime? We were talking beforehand that Ragtime
Mm,
is something that a lot of the, if it's Audra, if it's Brian's, if it's there, a lot of the students. We're here in Newark. I'm at lunch break. We're teaching NJ Pack. We're 30 all young artists of color that look to that show
I
and the
love it.
story of that show.
Yeah.
Um, resonates to them. They may not know another show, but they know that show. You chose to leave and do Ragtime. Is that
I
correct?
did. I did. So I was going on, I think, year 4 of Mary Poppins, and I just felt like I needed to mix things up. Like I was getting into a routine that maybe wasn't maybe serving the show with as much enthusiasm as it should have, and I just needed to mix it up a little. So I started auditioning again, and I took a leave of absence to go and do Meet Me in St. Louis at the Muni with Bryn O'Malley, and Max von Esten was in that production. And so I was gone for like I don't know, 6 weeks or something like that to do that show. And while I was there, James Moore was our music director, and he had just directed Ragtime at the Kennedy Center in DC. And he said to me, this production is moving to Broadway. You should audition. And I said, okay, yeah, I'd love to come in and sing for you. So I did, and I booked it as ensemble and Evelyn cover, Mother cover, I think Kathleen the maid cover, and I just felt like it was time for a change. I just yeah. So and of course the show again is so powerful. So um, I did. I left my steady Disney job to do the revival of Ragtime. And I don't regret it. It's sad that we didn't last longer. I think we ran for 2 months, and everybody was like, this is going to be the hit of the season. And that's the unpredictability of the business, isn't it? Like, I don't know if it was a marketing thing or if just maybe folks weren't ready for a revival yet, because the original was so iconic. I don't know what it was, but it was beautiful. We ran long enough that I was able to sit and watch the show once, and I thought it was just a beautiful interpretation of the show. And there was a lot of just incredible talent in that cast,
Absolutely.
and good souls. Yeah.
Those songs live forever, as all of these shows do. And speaking as Steven's music will live forever as well. And there's
Yeah.
a regional or community theater production of Gentleman's Guide literally playing every moment. And what can you say about in your own journey, and especially your friendship and collaborations with him, that you take with you as you continue, as you teach, as you create scholarships are in your name, the next generation of musical theater
Mm.
performers are coming out of the places that you all teach? Is there something that was in his personality or in his work ethic that you think we all can learn from?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I alluded to this, but he never he never stopped learning. He never felt like he had reached a plateau ever. And he always was hungry to hear, various styles, and was always excited to collaborate with new artists. I remember he was working on a new piece and was collaborating with a jazz guitarist, and he was just lit up by that, and exploring that. And he just never stopped looking for inspiration. And whether that was musicians or other singers, and he also, he had a beautiful voice too in his own right. So he was very, multifaceted and gifted that way. And I think that's what made him such a brilliant writer for singers. There are a lot of brilliant composers out there, but sometimes when you break them down as a singer, like it's like, ugh, this is hard to sing. His music was easy to sing because he was also approaching it as a fellow singer. And that's what made his music so singable and memorable. I feel like a lot of times we hear brilliant music, but then you leave the theater and you're like, oh, that was really pretty in the moment, but I can't hum it. Like I have no idea. Do you know what I mean? And,
Yes.
and all of his music was hummable, memorable, singable. Um, and his wit, I think the way that his mind worked, and he was so quick witted. I still hear his laugh. And so he would always make me laugh, but on the occasions that I could really make him laugh, it was one of those things where you felt like, oh my God, I just won an Oscar because I made Steve like double over laughing. It was a reward in and of itself. So I miss that a lot. I miss hearing him, like I said, he was very confident and he was very assured in his abilities, but like any of us, he needed reassurance. And now we joke, like at the funeral we realized there was like a bevy of muses, and I'll talk about this briefly on Thursday, but like and I said, now I've likened it to a lazy Susan of muses, where he like apparently just like picked up a new one every decade or so and somehow had the time to basically be on the phone with each of us every day. And we didn't know about each other till the funeral. We were like, hey, no, I was on the phone with him every day. They'd be like, no, I was on the phone with him every day. We're like, how did he have time to be writing 4 musicals and be on the phone with us every day and be married to Michael and be father to Elliot? Like, how did he do all that? I don't know. But we know about each other now, and we love each other, and we think he had great taste.
Yeah. Well, if you want stories like that, and if you want more information, and you want to hear the music as well as they honor Steven, and make it, you can get your tickets, tickets.nyu.edu. They're free. It's going to be this week. It's going to be Thursday.
Right.
It's going to be his birthday. It's going to be Catherine's birthday. It's going to be a celebration of life and work and music, and all of the things. And the man, because I think we get stuck behind the hoopla and the glitter and the fun and the Tonys, but he's a husband and a father and a friend, and you get to celebrate him.
Yes, and I think, like I said, the hope and the goal is that you will see all of those facets highlighted and how it came together to be such a beautiful and impactful life. So yeah, we would love to have the house brimming, and ready to celebrate him and everything that he was, and hopefully allow us to continue to have him be.
Well, it was so nice to have you here. We love your work. We love that
You.
voice, and we look forward to the journey continues. What's next? And we're looking forward to more music and more art. And thank you for sharing your heart with us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for letting us share about this event and just chat. I'll come chat with you anytime, Robert.
Anytime. Oh, I'm gonna call you on that. Watch out now.
Come to
Thank
Newark. I used to live in Jersey City. I'll come to
Oh,
Newark.
you're here. Come on down. That's neighbors. How great is that? We were talking today and teaching that not everybody is a performer. Not everybody gets on stage, sings and acts and dances, but there's a team of people who write, direct, produce, sound, audio, stagehands, costumes, wigs, PR, etc., marketing, that are all a part of it. If it's security, if it's the box office, there are people that make art. Steven, as a performer, but also as a writer and a composer, helps amplify. There would be no Gentleman's Guide without his music. There would be no Tonys for the show without his music. There'd be no one to sing the songs if someone didn't write the songs. So we got to honor his life and his legacy this Thursday. So make sure you head on down to NYU's Skirball. It's a great theater. It's really a beautiful theater. There's not a bad seat in the house. They have a lot of theater, and a lot of award shows are over downtown over at NYU, making the next generation of artists for sure. Speaking of the next generation of artists, we have all sorts of artists talking about art every single day right here on the Broadway Podcast Network. You can watch us live on Thursday nights on YouTube or you can watch us on Broadway World for an exclusive every Friday as well. So we're always somewhere. The Roundtable is somewhere. If you like this show, follow me at Robert M. Bannon or go to robertbannon.com, catch up on our past episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and, be a part of all the excitement. We have a lot of shows all summer long coming your way. As always, there's more good than there is bad. There is more love than there is hate. There's more joy than there is sorrow. We just have to look for it. The best is yet to come. I'm Robert saying have a good one. Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.